Good morning and welcome to the DeLaguna show. I'm already seeing some wonderful faces. Good morning, Amba. Good morning, CMGA. Good morning, NACLO. Welcome to being first. And the Satanic Clown Posse. Am I from the Lagoon? Am I? Good to see you, Adam. Well, today we are going to be starting off this show with a news story, which first of all, it's 3 days old. So you would think that we would have already seen it, especially because we've been going over the news every day. And it was even on the BBC, which we've been going over, but it was one of those like back stories. It was not a popular story. And I'll tell you what, it is an interesting story. It should have been a popular story. So here we are. Atiq Ahmed, former Indian MP and brother, shot dead on live TV. And that's the headline, but I'll tell you what, it is burying the lead because there is, holy cow, this story is crazy. So, former Indian politician convicted of kidnapping has been shot dead. So he was being handcuffed, and he was being arrested, and he was being walked over and escorted to reporters when somebody who had been posing as a journalist, because they were doing the paparazzi walk. So as they were walking by the journalist, somebody pretending to be a journalist pulled out a gun and shot him right in the head. And his teenage son, and get this, so not only was he shot in the head by someone pretending to be a journalist, 3 people were pretending to be a journalist and they were taken into custody, but also his teenage son was shot dead by police just days earlier. Okay. So dozens of cases, including kidnapping, murder, and extortion, were registered against Ahmed over the past 2 decades. A local court sentenced him to 2 others to life in jail in March in a kidnapping case. And so his last words on the camera were, "They did not take us, so we did not go." 3 suspected journalists, they took off on a motorcycle, or had arrived on a motorcycle. We could get over this, but what was crazy to me was the censorship. So following Saturday night's incident, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath ordered a judicial probe into the killings of the band. Oh yeah. So here's the craziest part. I'm looking for. Okay. So after the shots were fired Saturday night, 3 men who had been posing as journalists quickly surrendered, taken into custody. Dozens of cases, kidnapping. Ahmed was previously claimed threat. Video shows Ahmed and his brother Asaraf both in handcuffs, speaking to journalists on the way to medical checkup at the hospital seconds before they were both shot. In footage widely shared on social media and TV channels, Ahmed is asked whether he attended his son's funerals. His last words on camera: "They did not take us, so we did not go." The suspected assailants had arrived at site on the motorcycles. Following Saturday night's incident, Chief ordered judicial probe. I'm looking for where it's talking about the censorship in this article. But it's doing a really poor job. So from what I've been told, they have banned internet in India after this event. They banned the internet in India, and then they didn't allow groups of more than 4 people. So no gatherings, no free speech in all of India. So let's check this out. Let me double check that. India censorship murder. Okay, well, this is from 2021, so that's not it. Okay. Yeah, so India shutters borders to Shin State after killing 3 nationals. India has locked the gates to key border crossings in Chin. Closure comes amid intensified military offensive against rebel forces in Chin State, where on April 10, Hwanta jet dropped bombs near a high school. Okay, well, this is a completely different story. Turns out all sorts of crap is happening in India, which is resulting in the suppression of free speech right now. This is fun. India and the internet are both okay. So I'm going to check the link in back chat. Go there. Okay. Okay, thank you. So U.S. police intensify security. There we go. Internet shut off. Police patrolling was intensified on Sunday in the Paragajashakaya area, where gangster turned politician Atiq Ahmad's house is located, even as the Uttar Pradesh police tightened security across the state a day after Atiq and his brother Asraf were shot dead at point-blank range. Prohibitory orders under Section 144 of the Code of Criminal Procedure have been issued in all districts of Uttar Pradesh, and internet services remain shut in the district as part of security measures. The brothers were shot dead at point-blank range by 3 men posing as journalists. We know that. The assailants were arrested earlier in the day. Officials said postmortem examination was yet to begin. We are waiting for the directives from the administration to begin the postmortem. At present, the bodies are kept at the mortuary. They were brought here last night. An official requesting anonymity told PTI. Right. Protest against okay, I think we jumped into a new story here. So we're not getting a ton of details about what it's like, and this makes sense. I mean, if you're having censorship and you're having shut off internet, clearly you're not going to get a lot of information out there about what it's like in your country, because how are you supposed to get it out without the internet? These are the same issues that Venezuela was experiencing, and I think it was 2 years ago or last year. And also Cuba was also experiencing similar issues, and their government shut down when they were having riots. Their government shut down the internet, and then in Ukraine they tried to shut down the internet, and Elon Musk actually responded to the Ukrainian incident by I'm going to shut this down, by using Starlink to help them get the internet connection. So I don't know if he can do that in other parts of the world as well, but yeah. Alrighty, let's head over to, okay. We're going to play this clip really quick.
Somebody copied some of those documents. And
this is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We end today's show looking more at the recently leaked Pentagon documents, which have revealed secrets about the war in Ukraine, as well as U.S. spying on its adversaries and allies, including Israel and South Korea. The BBC reports one document shows dozens of special forces from Western nations, including the U.S., are operating inside Ukraine. The document, which was marked top secret, says the U.K. has 50 special forces, Latvia 17, France 15, U.S. 14, and the Netherlands has 1. The Pentagon and Justice Department are investigating the source of the leak. On Tuesday, I interviewed James Bamford, a longtime investigative journalist, author focused on the...
Wow. Okay. So those are the leaked documents. We had been talking about the leaked documents for the past 2 days. So for those of you guys who've been here or who have been following the news elsewhere, a airman, like a E3, an enlisted, like just out of basic training, basically, is being charged with treason for leaking documents. And those are the documents, the ones that she was just talking about. And it shows that there's U.S. forces fighting in Ukraine. And so, as we kind of stated earlier, Democrats are calling it treason. Conservatives are saying, well, it's pointing out the fact that the Biden administration have been lying about our efforts in Ukraine, the fact that we're engaging in a hot war. It also shows that we're in a losing hot war because Ukraine is not doing well. So it's exposing, it's whistleblowing. So some people think he's a hero. It says that they're definitely not fighting, though. Let's check that out again, because I didn't.
In Ukraine, as well as U.S. spying on its adversary. I'm Amy Goodman. We end today's show looking more at the recently leaked Pentagon documents, which have revealed secrets about the war in Ukraine, as well as U.S. spying on its adversaries and allies, including Israel and South Korea.
So, okay, so it showed that it showed how we were spying, and it showed our efforts in the Ukrainian war. It's even if it doesn't, it shows that we were definitely not fighting, as Henry put in back chat. We were definitely engaged in more so in the war than we previously said we were. We were definitely lying. Okay, hold on. Let me look at this too. Okay.
Forces have turned up all over.
Say readers should be caught.
Is that they're somehow part of the forces deployed in Ukraine. The obvious assumption many people would make is that they're somehow part of the fighting or carrying out secret raids. But if true that they are on the ground, there could be many other things special forces troops are deployed for.
Yes, and if they are there, I can pretty well guarantee that they are not part of the fighting and they will not be carrying out secret raids because the risks would just be too great of somebody being killed or captured in doing that. It's not what they do. Although they're capable of doing lots of things, I always say that the special forces can visit paralyzing violence on the king's enemies where necessary. What they actually do is very unglamorous. What makes them special as special forces is their ability to exist in ones and twos or very small units, completely independently, and they can just exist and they're recce troops. They actually observe what's going on. They send back information. They're an intelligence source. And so they can exist separately in the mountains of Afghanistan or the deserts of Arabia, or the streets of London, if you're talking about the Special Reconnaissance Regiment, where members have been known. I mean, it's in the public domain now. They sort of pretend to be drunken homeless people lying in doorways for days on end, just observing what's going on. That's what they do. They observe, and what makes them special is their ability to just do it without external support.
And yet it's not unprecedented for British special forces to be deployed to a conflict in which the UK is not fighting on the ground. The report.
All right, so that is British. It is not like in the United States, you need to have Congress approve of wartime efforts, and that has definitely not happened in the United States. Maybe it's common, and I don't know what the British wartime laws are. I don't know how that works in England, but I know that in America, we definitely have not declared war against Russia. So until that happens, we shouldn't be fighting. I guess we could be gathering intel, but then again, that also sounded like they were saying, oh, that seems highly irresponsible to go to war with Russia. And it seems like our special forces tend to have a policy of just spying, and that's what the special forces are for. So just take take from that what you will. For me personally, I still think the whistleblower is a whistleblower and a hero as opposed to treasonous person. That's me. Hey, your mom. Nice to see you. Good morning, Samantha. Good morning, all of the different Lucifers and bogus stage IPA and Chaz, all of you wonderful folk in chat. I appreciate you. Don't forget to tell Henry the producer. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Don't forget to tell Henry the producer if you want to see any news stories, or if you're driving and you saw a headline and you want me to read it, go ahead, put it in chat or send it to Henry the producer and I'll check it out. Let's head over to the CNN. That's how I really like to start the show. Well, I like to start the show with some stories that Henry and I thought were really interesting, but then I like to move on and check out all of the different sources of the day. Ooh, and then also, okay, there was one story that Henry and I were looking at, but we have almost no additional information. We basically know what happened and we have a video for it, but it's so graphic. So if you're not in the mood for something graphic, we're not going to play it, and that'll be the last story we play. So sit and think about it. And then if you don't want to be here for something graphic, just leave early. But we're not going to do that now. Let's just go to CNN right now. Is this the right thing? Yes, it is. Okay, let's see what is on CNN's top headlines. It is impossible to put a price on Fox News' damage to democracy. Okay, well, I knew everybody was going to be wanting to talk about this today. Everybody was going to be wanting to talk about the Dominion voting machines in Fox News. Now, yeah, it was a win for Dominion technically because they settled, but they settled out of court. You know, a lot of people settle out of court even when they're not guilty. Innocent defendants will settle just to get some obnoxious plaintiff off their back. I'm not super interested in this story, but because everybody's going to be interested in this story, I'm just going to skim it really quick and see if we know a dollar amount. The conservative channel will pay $787.5 million. That's a lot. How much was I thought it was like something $billion, but that's close to $1 billion. So, and it's also surprising that we're actually seeing the dollar amount, because you would imagine they would have each signed an NDA instead. Yeah, CNN. I know. I'm not a huge CNN fan either, but we're going to go. So the way that this show goes, if you haven't been here before, is we do CNN, then Fox, then NPR, then BBC, and then whatever. And then we'll just go into stories from there. So we're just checking out all the sides. We're trying to check out everything. But now I hear you. I hear you guys about the fake news. Oh, I really wanted to go over this story because my mom watches my live streams and she says that I have the wrong take on this. So I had been saying, you know, you have a right to defend your house. This is a state in which you have a right to defend your home if you're in imminent fear of death or bodily injury. No need to retreat. Some states do have. And but this man, so an elderly man, shot this elderly man right here, shot a young Black teenager through the door when the teenager was at the wrong apartment, because teenager either like lost or broke his phone or forgot his phone or something, or his phone was dead. So he couldn't access his phone. He generally knew the address, but he was off by a block or something. So he goes to the wrong address and he jimmies the handle and he gets shot through the door. And, you know, I was talking to my mom about this. I was like, this is clear case of self-defense. You know, he didn't know who this man was. It has absolutely nothing to do with race. And she was like, well, how do you know it doesn't have to do with race? There was glass in the door. He saw the suspect. It's weird that he's shooting through the door anyway. So I don't know. So let's just check out what CNN is saying. Okay. Recovery of Black teen allegedly shot by white homeowner after ringing wrong doorbell is a miracle, attorneys say. Yeah. Okay. Well, we already know that Ralph 16 rang a doorbell, shot the arm by homeowner, opened through a locked glass door without any words exchanged, according to statements in a probable cause document. So it was a glass door, so they saw each other, you would imagine. It was also late at night. It was also dark. Okay. Faces 2 felony charges for the assault, first degree, and armed criminal action. Told police that he opened fire because he thought the teen was trying to break in and he was scared to death due to the boy's size, according to the document. Yeah, I would be curious just from chat. Hey Lauren Uno. Hey Will the Fingerdo and Samantha P. What do y'all think? Do you think that counts as self-defense? So if somebody comes to your house late at night and you're this old man and you're not expecting, like, let's look at this man. He's probably not expecting people. Maybe we should go over this too. We should go over the legal proceedings. So Henry, maybe we should make note of that. We're going to start legal watch soon and go over legal cases. I want to go over this one. I also want to go over the Turtle Boy case that we went over yesterday. When that comes to court, I'm really excited about that. Okay, Samantha P. So I don't think he should have shot him through the door. I think he should have just waited on the inside of the door in the moment it opened to blow him. Right. Yeah, that's why you have a gun in the first place. I suppose, Samantha, but if you're fearful that they might have a gun, then do you want to wait for them to come into your house and then be able to shoot you? So that's, and I agree that this is probably the better way to do it, but do you think that, okay, put a 1 in chat if you think that he was genuinely acting in self-defense, or 2 if you think that he had racial motives. And then let's move on. Let's move on from this story. Okay, so we have their number 1 story on CNN right now is it's wow, 2 companies settled out of court is the number 1. That's the most important thing in the country right now, according to CNN. Russia having difficulty making new weapons, but might have enough older ones. I feel like I don't even really want to read that article because just the headline alone makes me feel like that's 1,000,000% propaganda. Like, it's nothing but propaganda. The fact that we're talking about, oh man, Russia army really struggling. Okay, well, we already know that they're kicking Ukraine's ass. So, okay, so we don't need that. This is silly. This is silly. We don't need your propaganda. New clue may explain why Vikings disappeared abruptly from the 15th century Greenland. Fascinating. Is it news? Is it news? More stories. A quarter of Americans live in polluted air. Okay. See, this is another thing. Just a quarter of Americans live with polluted air, with people of color and those in Western states disproportionately affected. It's always going to be people of color. You're always going to say that. It does not matter. You could be like, cats are giving mad allergies this year. Black and brown people are disproportionately affected this year. It does not matter what it is. If it's something bad, CNN is going to say that people of color are somehow disproportionately affected. Okay. Oh yeah, I saw this. This one was really sad. I don't know if y'all saw this. Yeah. All right, 13-year-old boy died in Ohio after participating in a Benadryl TikTok challenge. Yeah, look at this cute kid. So there was a challenge on TikTok where you're supposed to take like 12 to 14 Benadryl, and it's supposed to make you hallucinate, and you're supposed to be filming. So if you have kids who are on TikTok, they're seeing really dumb challenges, such as the Benadryl challenge, and other kids are doing it too. And so this kid was trying to make a TikTok, and then he ended up dying, and he was comatose for a while. Yeah, he was comatose. I don't know if they're going to show that picture. I had seen a picture of him in bed in a hospital, but it was days. So the father had to struggle with thinking the son might make it for days. And for what? A TikTok viral thing is just so sad. It's horrible. Yeah. I'm not saying anything super interesting here. Lawyers for Manhattan DA and House Republicans meet Wednesday on intimidation claims. Ooh, okay. Lawyers for House Republicans and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office are set to square off before a federal judge Wednesday over subpoena seeking testimony about the indictment of former President Trump. Last week, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, a Democrat, sued Jim Jordan, the chair of Republican-led House Judiciary Committee, to block congressional subpoena to a former prosecutor, alleging lawmakers are engaging in a transparent campaign to intimidate and attack the district attorney's office. So, okay, let's back up. So for those of you who don't know, Alvin Bragg, he is the district attorney. So this guy, I'm here, not Jim Jordan. This is Jim Jordan. This is Alvin Bragg. Okay, so Alvin Bragg was on the right, is a Democrat. He ran for district attorney. He ran on the campaign promise that he was going to put Trump in jail. I'm going to put Trump in jail. Vote for me, put Trump in jail. Okay. Well, if that's your campaign promise, then guess what? You're probably going to try to find a reason to put Trump in jail, even if there's no reason to put Trump in jail. So he indicts Trump over the Stormy Daniels stuff, yada, yada. Wasn't a lot of that dropped. I think almost all of that was dropped, but it doesn't matter. So Jim Jordan then was trying to subpoena Alvin Bragg, was trying to question Alvin Bragg. He was like to talk about his biases. And so federal judge Wednesday over subpoena. Yeah, so Jim Jordan basically wanted to call in Bragg to question him about the indictment, and Alvin Bragg then sued Jim Jordan in response, saying that he was just trying to intimidate Alvin Bragg out of prosecuting the president, and he's trying to stop him, and Jim Jordan is trying to stop Alvin Bragg for political reasons. Totally negating the fact that Alvin Bragg is only bringing charges against Trump for political reasons. So, Bragg asked the judge for a temporary restraining order or preliminary injunction to block the subpoena. So, okay, so what that is saying is Bragg is asking the judge to make it so that Jim Jordan is not allowed to ask him questions. So typically Jim Jordan would be allowed to subpoena him in front of Senate, but now he's saying, I want you to not only block this subpoena that Jim Jordan already has out for me to come and testify, I also want you to block any future subpoenas. That is quite an ask of a judge to prevent the federal government from operating. Oh, this is House, so actually it's not the Senate, it's the Congress. Okay, I should know my representatives better. The lawsuit followed weeks of heated exchange between Jordan and Bragg leading up to and following the indictment of Trump on 34 charges, falsifying business records. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Lawyers for Jim Jordan and the committee said they are immune from. Okay, yeah, let's see. Lawyers for Jordan and the committee said they are immune from the civil lawsuit under the speech and debate clause of the United States Constitution that protects lawmakers from being sued for actions stemming from their legislative actions. They have also argued that the subpoena is valid because they are seeking. So Jim Jordan is saying, so in the Constitution, there's actually a lot of protection for lawmakers, which you wouldn't anticipate. So, for instance, you can't really be sued for defamation. And keep in mind, I'm not an attorney. But yeah, so you could get sued. You cannot be sued for defamation if you're on like on the floor of the House or Senate and you're testifying as to an issue like of national importance. Which is just strange. You wouldn't expect people to just be like immune from defamation at any point, especially when it's like national news like that. But they're also, that's the clause in the United States Constitution which protects the lawmakers in the first place from being sued from defamation, is the speech and debate clause of the United States Constitution. But it also, I see, protects the legislators from being sued for their actions. So that would include subpoenaing people. So not just for the actions of what they're saying, but also for the actions of trying to subpoena people. In this case, Alvin Bragg. They have also argued that the subpoena is valid. So therefore, the subpoena for Bragg to come in is valid because they are seeking information to potentially craft legislation that would protect a president from politically motivated state and local prosecutions and allow them to move criminal actions to federal courts, where it would sit most properly. The actions against Donald Trump would best be suited in federal court as opposed to state court. So, yeah. Committees, they're immune. Courts. Okay, in a proposed response filed, Bragg argued that the constitutional immunity assumes that the actions are part of legitimate legislative act. So the only way that Bragg wins in this suit is he has to argue that Jim Jordan has no legitimate purpose in trying to protect essentially the United States from becoming a banana republic. I can't see any reason why we wouldn't want the United States to just lock up all of our officials and prosecute the president locally. I mean, how silly. How silly. You're saying that, like, we're this close to civil war and you're like, that's not a legitimate reason. Oh, gosh, that's so funny. Hey, Scott Starboard. Nice to see you here. Oh. Oh, okay, so Starship is trying its. I just got a message from Henry that Starship is doing a second attempt for this time tomorrow. So we'll be checking that out tomorrow as well. All right, so we spent a crap ton of time on the CNN front. How about we head over to the Foxy Newsy? Okay. I booted. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Hold on. So somehow I entered it twice. So give me I don't even know how to undo it. Okay, we're back. Oh, that was so frustrating. Okay, let's try that again. Let's go over to Fox News, people. Ooh, that was fun. That was a break. That was a good old time. We made it though. We came out the other side. It didn't take too long. Let's move on. All right, AI can kill us, but some in Congress don't even know how to log into Facebook. You know what though? Facts. It's not just Congress though. Like judges sometimes. Lord Jesus, if you have a case that involves more than 2 applications on a cell phone, good luck trying to explain that to a judge. I swear to God, so many judges are so old. And so when you're trying to explain, oh, well, this set of fact, like this happened on Discord in a private server, and this is on YouTube, and this is and people and the judges are like, YouTube, where I watch where I watch my news, you could, like they don't know anything. And so it's so hard sometimes to put a case in front of them that is so heavily fact-based in technology. So it will be quite comical. And you know what? I'm a conservative, but I have to say it tends to be the conservatives that are the least technologically capable. And it is hysterical watching like for instance when Congress was trying to subpoena Facebook and Twitter and all of that, and they were asking just like not knowing any tech whatsoever, they were just asking the funniest questions. They were okay, so AI can kill us. Yeah, we all know that. So we all know that they're clueless. So okay. So Maine police identified gunman who allegedly shot and killed 4 people, wounded 3 others.
This is a real B&H customer story. Jack and Barber.
Nice. All right, 34-year-old Joseph Eaton allegedly murdered 4 people. I don't know, maybe for opening fire on interstate, wounding 3 others. Damn. Okay. Maine State Police arrested 34-year-old Joseph Eaton and charged him with murder on Tuesday evening after he allegedly shot and killed 4 people and wounded 3 others earlier in the day. The shooting began on Tuesday morning at a residence in Bowdoin, a rural town about 30 miles northeast of Portland, where 4 victims were found shot to death. Damn. Hearses could be seen leaving the home on a wooded lot later in the day. The gunman opened fire about 25 miles south of Bowdoin on Interstate 295, wounding 3 people, including 1 critically. A car with bullet holes in the windshield could be seen near an off-ramp where the interstate shooting occurred. Holy cow. Is there motivation? Motive. Where does it say motive? Okay, thank you so much, video that I did not click on. Motive. Okay. Authorities do not identify the victims or release information about a motive. Okay, well, that answers that. Sad. Very sad. Okay, let's check this out. Illinois youth wrestler sucker punches opponent after losing match.
Lighting is everything. It
Yeah.
changes the perspective in a significant way.
Jeez,
If I'm curious to see how it
I'm not
edits
curious,
on the go, I would just edit in Lightroom.
Okay, Jesus. So one thing that's really interesting, and I'm just going to say again, I'm not an attorney, but I do know that, so for torts, for instance, let's say you're playing football. It is considered typically, if you're not playing football, it's considered a tort to touch somebody without their permission. But obviously, when you're playing a contact sport, before you don't have to, sorry, I want to tackle you. Can I touch you first? You don't have to do that, obviously. So you have what's called implied consent during a sport, especially a contact sport, for that contact, but it has to be related to gameplay. So there had previously, I remember reading this in law school, there had been a case in which I think it was a football player. He had a play and then he did a late tackle, like after the play, and it was a flag. And they were trying to debate legally, okay, is this just is this part of the game? Is this part of, is this just a penalty where something immediately after a play and you do a post tackle? Or is that actually a tort? Because the game was over, there was no gameplay going on, and now he's purposely tackling him, causing him injury without his permission. So, interesting point. So let's read this guy here. Illinois youth wrestler sucker punches opponent after losing match. Police launch pro. Video shows parents furious after one wrestler looked like he was shaking hands but didn't. Crazy. Police have launched investigation into the Illinois youth wrestling match that got ugly after a wrestler sucker punched his opponent after losing during the Beat the Streets tournament on April 8th at Oak Park Forest High School in Oak Park, whatever, in Maine. Alicia was defeated by Cooper Quarter of SPAR Wrestling Academy. As is custom in wrestling, the referee invited the two wrestlers into the center of the mat to shake hands and to announce Quarter as the winner. Oh, okay. So we got a video of it. Let's check it out.
You missed that throw, dude.
Damn. Well, geez, my goodness. So that's what you would call an intentional tort. Like, what? What is going on in our kid's head? Lord Jesus. Oh my God. Parents immediately rushed the mat for obvious reasons. Quarter reportedly suffered. Oh no! Broken nose from the punch. Holy and we'll have to wear. Oh, that's actually really sad. Oh, this is not what I meant.
You're a busy owner operator working hard to run your truck.
Okay. I'm not working hard to run a trucking company. I don't know why you think that of me, but thank you. No, but it said that he had to wear like a special face mask and everything, and that was sad. I don't like that for him. What did it say? It said, so we'll have to wear a special face. Oh, in upcoming events, meaning he'll be playing in upcoming events. Okay, that's good. So he's still, playing, because that would be really devastating if he was a junior or senior and he couldn't play for the rest of the year because of this. Yikes. Yeah, I agree. That is pretty messed up. And oh, damn. Well, you should have got more sleep, Lucifer. Maybe you wouldn't have fallen from heaven if you got more sleep. Okay. Well, that's nasty. Well, and then I found this story interesting, even though I accidentally clicked on it. So let's go over to it. Florida road raid incident leaves 2 girls shot after father stand your ground fight. Damn. Wait, what? A Georgia man faces attempted murder charges in Florida after a road rage confrontation between him and a father in October left both of their daughters with gunshot wounds. Bro, like my dad, I love my dad. He would get angry sometimes. I'm sure he would want to road rage. He would never put me and my sister in a situation where we might get shot just so that he could be mad at somebody on the flipping road. Jesus Christ. Okay. My dad always says never fight with ugly or crazy. They have nothing to lose. And honestly, when you're on the road, just assume everyone's crazy. A Georgia man faces attempted murder charge in Florida. Okay. Frank Allison, 44, and William Hale, 36, were driving down on Highway 1 with their families when they got into dangerous confrontation in Nassau County Sheriff's Office, said at the time. Both were arrested, but prosecutors on March 31st dropped the second-degree murder charge against Allison under Florida's self-defense stand your ground law after determining that Hale was the aggressor. Interesting. That's crazy. So, man, okay. Like, so in Florida, I would know this because I just passed the bar there. Woo! I'm still not an attorney. I still have to get licensed, and that's like a whole process. So no, you're not automatically an attorney just because you passed the bar. But anyway, I did pass the bar there, and I do know that you in Florida, you could stand your ground anywhere. So a lot of states are like, in your home, you could stand your ground. You're not forced to retreat in your own home. Okay. But then Florida is like, bruh, you're not forced to retreat anywhere. You're standing in the middle of CVS. You're standing in the middle of the sidewalk. You're standing in the middle of the street. You don't got to retreat. So they looked at this case. They saw two men fighting, and they determined one was aggressor. The other one didn't have to retreat. Where in other parts of the world, for instance, Korea, because we had a conversation with Whiskey Guy Korea from Nick Ricada, which was super exciting. And let me read Samantha's post after this, which is super exciting. But he was saying in Korea, there's literally no self-defense. Somebody could be trying to kill you, and if you push them off, that's assault. Maybe they'll be charged with attempted murder, but you'll be charged with assault. Like, ain't that some shit? All right, Samantha. Okay, Geneva-based International Commission of Jurists, along with UNAIDS and the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, made suggestions in a recent report titled the March 8th Principles for Human Rights-Based Approach to Criminal Law, prescribing conduct associated with sex, reproduction, drug use, HIV, homelessness, and poverty. Oh, that's pretty cool. Want us to check that out? Okay. Okay, the March 8 principles. Okay, let's check that out. Okay. Okay, so on March 8th, 2023, International Committee of Jurists Union. So this is what we just read. International human rights laws enacts commitment from states to respect, protect, and fulfill basic human rights. When states become parties to international rights treaties, the countries are not to interfere with the enjoyment of human rights and to protect individuals and groups among human rights abuses, while taking positive action to facilitate the enjoyment of basic human rights. The Universal Declaration, United General Assembly, adopted December 10th, 1948, first codified. This is very cool. Okay, so introduced on International Women's Day, the 8th March Principles addresses overcriminalization in matters pertaining to sexual activity, gender identity, and expression, HIV, drug use, homelessness, and poverty. Do you feel like these are a little bit buzzwordy, if I'm being honest? Like, I'm seeing, like, I kind of feel like we're heading to, okay, so it says addresses over criminalization in matters pertaining to sexual activity, gender identity, and expression. So, like, I'm worried that if legislators in the United States tried to, for instance, ban transgender hormone treatment or surgeries for children, would that now be considered a human rights violation? Would the country itself and the legislators be considering, would that be considered human rights violations according to these people, because it's preventing them from identity expression? See, that's where I'm like, ooh, that's a little bit, and that's why the United States really ought to not be a part of these other legal organizations, is because their versions of what human rights are is not, I don't know. That's interesting though. Okay, the principles of the outcome of the 2018 workshop that UNAIDS, IRCR, and ICJ held to discuss the harmful human rights impacts of criminal laws. That's another thing. We already have enough criminals on the street. We already have, like, you see what's happening in Chicago. If you haven't been here the previous 2 days, if you have been here the previous 2 days, you would know that Chicago and Los Angeles had mass riots. Had mass riots due to, like, basically the inability to control their criminal population. Good morning. Okay, wait, I want to see what Samantha P has to say. All right. It is in this bill, it suggests decriminalizing pedophilia. Oh shit. No way. Yeah, see, I knew this sounded shady. I was like, see, on the surface, it sounded good. But then I was like, ooh, that is shady. Thank you, girl. Okay, but they're legally bound by law at the moment that they have to support gender expression. And if not, they could potentially lose their license. Yeah, facts. As a physician, it's difficult to even speak out about it. Very true. Very true. Good morning, Grumpy Lucifer. Good article in back chat. Well, okay. Thank you, Henry. I do want to keep on this though. I want to see in particular. This seems like a frou-frou version of the article. So let's see if March 8 principles. Let's see if I type in oh, punishes. So that's good. That's what that's the goal. A. Not seeing anything. Do me a favor, Samantha P. If you see anything that, like any article about how this is related to, because I believe you, but if you have any article for me on that front, go ahead and send that to Henry the producer. I'm just going to go ahead. Henry the producer@gmail.com. Okay. So you're going to put that there. Barb. Yeah, go ahead and email him. So we're gonna go on to this next article. I don't know what this is. We're gonna remove that. Oh, this is Henry. Okay. Oh, well, I can't control the Zoom on this, so put it in back chat, please. I can't control that, Henry, so go ahead and put it in back chat. Is that the one in back chat? Yeah, it is. Okay. Did UN call to decriminalize sex between adults and children? Look at Henry. You see how quick he is at that shit? I'm the slow one, not him. Okay. Okay, UN report calls for, so I love whenever I hear like, did this happen? You're hearing, okay, it's a fact check. Fact checkers almost always lean left. So we're going to keep that in mind before delving into the article. So maybe they're trying to like save face for these people. So let's check. Okay, UN reports call, oh, apparently not. UN report calls for decriminalization of sex between adults and children. Yikes. People are sharing an article which claims the UN report just called for the decriminalization of sex between adults and children. Here is an excerpt from the long article for your reference. Please skip to the next section for the facts. Okay, UN report calls for decriminalization of sexual activity, including blah, blah, blah. A new report, the United Nations experts say that criminalizing offenses related to the issues constitute an attack on human rights. While on the surface it may seem relatively uncontroversial, the report calls for sex between adults and minors to be decriminalized so long as the minors consent. Minors, of course, cannot truly consent. Yeah. The report also calls for all criminal laws relating to sex work to be abolished, which could easily serve to aid traffickers, pimps, and abusers. In turn, this serves the abortion industry as well. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Yikes. Okay, fact number 1. Report was released in March 2023. It was written by the ICJ. Adolescence is defined as ages 10 to 19. The report referred to adolescent sexual activity. Yikes. So the report in question referred to adolescent sexual activity and not child sexual. So what? Excuse me? What's exactly the difference? If adolescence is 10 to 19, then how is that different? Okay. It was mentioned twice that the report referred to consensual sexual activities, including the consent, such as sex outside marriage, same-sex relations, and adolescent sexual activity and sex work. This is repeated for the 3rd time in part 3 of the document, where it called for the decriminalization of consensual sexual activities, including consent, such as sex outside of marriage, same-sex sexual relations, and adolescent sexual activity and sex work. I'm sure people who are proponents of this, I'm sure what they're going to say is like, oh, this is so that if a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old are dating, that the 17-year-old doesn't get in trouble. But no, we have like a lot of legislation in place for that reason already. So hello, Holistic Health. Welcome to the morning show. Yeah, so I don't think that's what it is. Okay, number 5, adolescents are having sex. The decriminalization of consensual activity, including adolescence, is critical because the truth is what? 2013 study. Yeah, it seems like this article is trying to defend them still. Weird. If minimum age of consent of laws are not adjusted accordingly, these adolescents may be criminally penalized, throwing their lives and future into jeopardy. Oh my God, that's insane. Age of consent in many states in the countries is less than 18. Yeah, like the youngest is 15 though. Okay. Like, we're not getting into 10-year-olds as this is suggesting. It should be pointed out that there's many states. This is gross. I love how they're trying to like justify this. Like, well, the age of consent is already 15 in some retarded states, so I guess that makes it okay. Okay, so the report does mention a minimum age of consent. Principle 16, consent sexual conduct did not call for the abolishment of any minimum age of consent, which is what the viral claims implied. Rather, it said that such criminal laws should not be biased in favor of any sex, gender, or age. Well, or age. Wouldn't you be biased against an age as soon as you make a minimum age? Okay. Of consent to marriage. In other words, what's good for the gander is good for the goose too. The law should be applied equally. Okay, well, we already have a constitution which requires us to apply the law equally. So, okay. I think this is just like a cover up. No, but I think you're right. Like this proves enough to me. Okay. Great story suggestion, Samantha P. Wow. Okay. From what I am reading, they are considering adolescents. Yeah, that's what I just read too. They are reading it to be 10 plus, but at the same time, they're like making all of these wiggle. Oh, well, we're talking about adolescents engaging with each other. And then the age of consent is already 15 in some states. Like, Okay. Let's move on. I say we head over to NPR. Let's see what NPR is up to. Your state-sponsored media. This kind of seems interesting. Their very first article. Okay, Supreme Court on Wednesday revisits a question the court has never answered when a threat is a true threat. What does the prosecution have to prove? Does it have to show that the defendant intended to frighten his target, or is it enough to show that his words would have the effect on a reasonable person? The case involves Coles Whalen, a singer-songwriter from Colorado, and Billy Counterman, a man convicted and is sentenced to 4.5 years in prison for stalking Whalen and making true threats against her. Oh, yikes. Look how pretty she is. It's so sad. Okay. So he began messaging her in 2010. It blew full boil 2014. Sent over 1,000 messages. Ranged from affectionate to angry. He was watching her, clearly mentally unstable. Indicated that he was seeing me in person without me knowing it, and I was terrified, according to the singer. He said at one point to her, "Die, don't need you." And then he said, "I'm currently unsupervised. I know it freaks me out too." Bruh. Oh my God, I would have called the police so fast if I got that text message and I was her. Oh my God. Okay, so Carmen's counsel points out that he has a mental illness and didn't know that he was frightening Whalen. So, okay, that's where it comes. So I guess they're trying to determine whether it's a reasonable person standard, right? Or whether there needs to be intent. Now, from my understanding, you need intent with like murder, burglary, assault. There's like certain offenses that you need intent for. And I have never heard that you have needed intent for harassment. I'm pretty sure just harassing someone alone has always been enough, whether or not the person intended to. And I always thought, like, for instance, in Massachusetts, and keep in mind, I'm not an attorney. I'm not even licensed. I've never even taken the Massachusetts bar. So even though they're the UBE state, and I have taken a UBE bar before, and I'm still waiting on that, but whatever. But I do know Massachusetts, for instance, like to get a restraining order against someone, you need to have 3 separate instances of contact. That contact has to be unwanted. It has to have put you in fear. And it also has to have put a reasonable person in fear. Nowhere in there does it require the defendant to have wanted the person to. That, like, intent was never an element to harassment for Massachusetts. And I just happen to know the Massachusetts one really well. And I happen to know a few other states. And in the few states that I do know, none of them require intent. So I find this so odd that they're now discussing whether or not it's requiring intent, and it's going all the way up to the Supreme Court. And this should definitely be enough. That would put me in fear. What do you guys? Would you be afraid, chat, if that happened to you? Hey, Tommy, welcome. Oh no, I'll say hi to you all I want, man. I'll flip and leave you right here. Good morning, Ed Ramirez. Good morning, Hail Morningstar. What a name for the morning, too. Alrighty. Let's go back. Colorado attorney Phillips Weiser counters that the Colorado law, the question is whether the objective person in the situation of the victim would feel threatened. And he notes that's what the trial was about in the Counterman case. Since the founding of the Republic, we've had threat statutes that have allowed the prosecution of threats without regard to the specific intent of the person making the threats. Facts. Thank you, attorney, who appears to know the law. Appreciate you. He points to a brief filed by victims' rights organizations and studies showing that for the victim, the psychological effect of threatening behavior is frequently far worse than the actual assault. And it's just crazy because, like, why would intent matter? Like, let's say you have some person who was crazy, like this man appears to be, and going around threatening people. And then it's like, oh, well, he's crazy. He didn't intend to cause legitimate fear. So there's no law that we can write to prevent it. And therefore, he should just continue going around causing, people to be scared crapless. We live in a time of rising demonization and threats of physical violence and actual physical violence. Facts, Weiser, the attorney said. It's important that the law be able to respond. I mean, yeah, for those of you who follow Turtle Boy, you would see the threats that he got this week and stuff. And it's important for people to be able to respond. Oh, Jesus. What? Okay, time to pull this story out of back chat. Thank you, Henry. Holy cow. Let's check this guy out. Are you reading that headline with me correctly? Are you guys reading this? Bombshell filings, 9/11 hijackers were CIA recruiters. I mean, I think we all know it, but to see it in a headline is so jarring. That is crazy. Okay, let's read this guy. At least 2 9/11 hijackers had been recruited into a joint CIA-Saudi intelligence operation that was covered up at the highest level, according to explosive new court filing. A newly released court filing raises grave questions about the relations between Alex Station, a CIA unit set up to track Al-Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden and his associates, and 2 9/11 hijackers leading up to the attacks, which was subject to a cover-up at the highest levels of the FBI. According to Spy Talk, the filing is a 21-page declaration by Don Cancentaro, a lead investigator for the Office of Military Commissions, the legal body overseeing the cases of 9/11 defendants. It summarizes, that's another thing, right? Like, so I find it so odd. So, like, if you're a United States citizen, obviously you are guaranteed all of the protections of the United States Constitution. You're a U.S. citizen in the United States. However, if you're a terrorist and you try to kill Americans and you're not a United States citizen, the Constitution doesn't apply to you, even if you're being even if the United States court, like even if you're held in a United States jail, like Guantanamo Bay, and being prosecuted by a federal court or United States court, you're not granted the same rights as Americans. So it's interesting. Are they like? I don't care about terrorists, obviously, if they're trying to murder me. But at the same time, you would think a fair trial is important to make sure that they actually are terrorists trying to murder me. So if you're not, so like in America, we have something called Brady, like Brady requirements. So if you're prosecuting a defendant, so like let's say I am accusing Jack of murder, some guy named Jack of murder, and then while doing my investigation, I'm prosecuting, we have trial tomorrow, and then I look at some document and I realize, oh my God, the blood sample actually shows Jack is innocent. It's definitive based off these blood samples that just came back from the lab. In America, the prosecution would be required to give that to the defense. You are required to give all information related to the case over to the defense, especially exculpatory evidence like that. But how does that apply to terrorists in the United States? I have no idea. Like, if you're prosecuting a terrorist who has no constitutional rights according to the law, do the terrorists have to be given exculpatory evidence? I have no idea. I do not know. Like, if they're like, Jack, you're a terrorist and you're not a United States citizen, go to Guantanamo Bay. And they're in Guantanamo Bay and they're like, oops, it wasn't Jack, it was actually John. Is Jack required to be released immediately? I have no idea. I just don't know. Okay. 21-page filing. Okay, I already said that. Saudi government connections to 9/11 attack. When originally released in 2021 on the Office Public Court docket, every part of its document was redacted except an unclassified marking, giving its explosive contents. It is not difficult to see why, as Constaro's investigation concluded, at least 2 9/11 hijackers had been recruited either knowingly or unknowingly into a joint CIA-Saudi intelligence operation, which may have gone awry. 50-50 chance of Saudi involvement? Jesus Christ. That's no bueno. In 1986, Alex Station was created under the watch of CIA. The initiative was supposed to comprise of a joint investigation effort with the FBI. However, the FBI operatives assigned to the unit soon found that they were prohibited from passing any information to the Bureau's head office without the CIA's authorization and faced harsh penalties for doing so. Efforts to share information with the FBI's equivalent unit, the I-49 squad based in New York, were repeatedly blocked. Okay, in the late 1999, the system blinking red about an imminent large-scale al-Qaeda terror attack inside the U.S. The CIA and NSA were closely monitoring the operational cadre within an al-Qaeda cell that included the Saudi nationals Nauf al-Hazim and Khalid al-Midar. The pair would purposely go on to hijack American Airlines Flight 77, which crashed into the Pentagon on 9/11. Wow. The meeting was, okay, wow. So al-Hazim and al-Midar had attempted an al-Qaeda summit that took place between January 5th and 8th, 2000 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The meeting was secretly photographed and videotaped by local authorities at Alex Station's request, although apparently no audio was captured. En route, Midar transited through Dubai. where CIA operatives broke into his hotel room and photocopied his passport. It showed that he possessed a multi-entry visa to the United States. What? Okay, a contemporary internal CIA cable stated this information was immediately passed to the FBI for further investigation. In reality, Alex Station not only failed to inform the Bureau of Midhar's U.S. visa, but also expressly forbade 2 FBI agents assigned to the unit from doing so. I said, we've all got to tell the Bureau about this. These guys are clearly bad. We've got to tell the FBI. And then the CIA said to me, no, it's not the FBI's case, not the FBI's jurisdiction. Mark Rossani, one of the FBI agents in question, has alleged. If we had picked up the phone and called the Bureau, I know I would have been violating the law. I would have been removed from the building that day. I would have had my clearances suspended and I would be gone. And about 2,000 people would be alive. Like, are you... people just like... the bystander effect is so real. Your only job as an FBI agent, literally your only job, is to protect American citizens. If that meant you had to lose your job to protect 2,000 American citizens, maybe you should have done it. Like, maybe. I get that it's difficult. Could you imagine choosing your job over Jesus? Okay, I'm just going to put this. This is such a long article too, and I don't want to read, entire articles from beginning to end. I'm definitely going to put this in StreamYard right here. So if you guys want to read that entire article, let's see how much longer I have. I mean, it's such a long article. So yeah, if you want to read the details of that, I haven't read it yet, so I don't want to just sit here and read it to you, but that's just fascinating. So go ahead. I put the link right here. Go ahead, grab that link if you want to read the rest of that and learn about all of the various things that happened. Okay, facts, Samantha. Yeah, facts. But I would imagine though, I don't know why, when you're a police officer and you're dealing like with a person one-on-one, you're like, okay, obviously I'm going to come before this rando. I'm going to put myself first and my job first. Hey. But otherwise, I would like, if it's 2,000 people, you think that like all these people are going to, I don't know. I guess maybe he didn't know it was going to be that bad, but you're right. Like, he didn't know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Stop making good points, Samantha. Okay. Okay. We get it. You're smart. No, but seriously, that's a great point. Yeah. People will do anything to keep their jobs. Like, they will put their job. It's pretty crazy that they'll put money before lives of others. Okay, let's head over to NPR. Ooh, what the heck? Holy cow. You see this? Holy cow. So a parking garage collapsed. Hold on. I wasn't talking about any one instance. I meant this version of nation as a group. And so saying, yeah. I see that. Like, the group as a whole going down to get. I agree, Samantha. I agree. No, it's hard to formulate, but I understand what you're saying. Like, each one of these doctors, physicians, police officers, it appears to be putting their desire to keep their jobs over general welfare of people. For instance, you saw this during 2020. You saw this during 2020 specifically with physicians who were, oh, I just want to keep my job, so I'm not even going to offer ivermectin or whatever, or I'm not even going to tell my patients not to take the vaccine when I think it's bad for them because I just want to keep my job. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Okay, let's check this out. New York parking garage collapsed Tuesday in Lower Manhattan's financial district, killing one worker, injuring 5, and crushing cars as concrete floors fell on top of each other like stacks of pancakes. Vehicles tumbled into what looked like frozen stream of sedans, SUVs. People nearby described a fearsome rumbling followed by screams. Ahmed Scott arrived to collect his car after work and found a disaster in the making. In the video, where's the video? I want to see, oh my gosh. Look at that. I want to see the video though. Is there a video? So there was a video. Okay. In a video he shot from across the street, someone off camera yells, "Guard, 911, 911, there's a building collapsing on Ann Street." Followed by the sound of something crumbling. About 45 seconds later, 2 women running out saying the building fell while they were inside it. A man standing on a fire escape as bystanders try to figure out how to help him get down. He eventually did. "I hope ain't nobody else in there," Scott recalled thinking, worrying for the garage workers he'd gotten to know. Jesus, felt like an earthquake. The earth opened up inside. Like, that's how violent it was. Other students described seeing cars falling in the building. One vehicle landed on its end in the garage entrance. A photo posted by Mayor Eric Adams' office showed. Look at that. The garage gave in around 4 p.m., a few blocks from City Hall and the Brooklyn Bridge, and about a half mile from New York Stock Exchange. Pace evacuated an adjacent dorm and classroom building. Okay. It wasn't immediately clear what caused the collapse. City building department records show this 3-story structure has been a garage at least since the 1920s. Holy cow. And there are no recent permits for construction. Jesus. We're seeing like a lot of building collapse, more than I remember seeing as a kid. Like, I feel like we're just seeing like a lot of building collapses. So yeah, I don't know. That is odd. Okay. I only graduated. You're strides ahead of me. It's just that a nation full of mouth breathers. It makes strides ahead. You're silly if you think that, because I don't think education makes you smart at all. I think you are actually probably on par with me, if not. Just your comments were really intelligent. So I think you're incredibly smart, and education definitely does not make you smart. There are plenty of dumbass attorneys out there. I'll tell you what, I'm sure you are smarter than most of the people I went to. I know for a fact that you're smarter than 90% of the people I went to law school with. So don't even sweat it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we get it. So pancakes. Yikes. Yikes. Okay. Let's see. We haven't gone to the BBC at all, so let's check that out. So apparently there was a second shooting that is taking place, which makes lawmakers questionable about the stand your ground law. What? Okay. Oklahoma governor wants officials. This is NPR still. I didn't change. to BBC yet. Oklahoma governor wants officials who made violent racist remarks on tape to resign. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has called on 4 county officials to resign after they were caught on tape allegedly making violent and racist remarks and jokes. These tend to be the jokes, but there is simply no place for such hatred and rhetoric in the state of Oklahoma. I guess there is no First Amendment in the state of Oklahoma, especially by those who serve to represent the community in their respective office. Ugh, I'm so over woke culture. Stitt said in a statement, according to the Associated Press and its other outlets, like, these are elected officials, right? If the people elected them, then the people could just not re-elect them. That's how democracy works. You don't force people to step down because they said no words that you don't like. I will not stand idly by while this takes place. Not in Oklahoma, not with me as governor. I will not allow for the First Amendment to take place while I'm governor of Oklahoma. Okay. His statements came in response to the release of audio recordings by the McCurtain Gazette News, a local newspaper that said it recorded the comments at a public meeting. The recordings, which have been authenticated by NPR, reportedly include voices of, okay, well, it has the recordings here, right? So we could click that link. Hold up, yo. I got 2 peeps. Let's do it.
On a bark body, we wrap it up tinfoil to preserve the body and stuff like that. And we get all the body parts and stuff like that. And Kyla was out there too.
All the body part. Oh, she come apart.
Yeah, just the bark bodies.
No, I know. I picked up on
and
they really
Kyla,
fall apart when they're burnt.
And yeah.
Have you ever had barbecue?
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm hungry.
Kyla looked at the face.
Glasses
and they got to wrap the tinfoil and put it in a body bag. Kyla goes, "You do know."
Okay, so far we have a joke about a body being burned and how it falls apart like barbecue. Maybe that's a decent analogy. Is it kind of gross? Is it a bit crass? Maybe. But did you instantly understand what he meant by the body falling apart like barbecue the second he said like barbecue? I did. Like, okay, so you don't. Okay, let's continue.
What we got to do now, right? Faith goes, "No, what?" She goes, "She got to preheat the oven 350 degrees, leave her in there for 15 minutes." And she went, bless her. It was, and then the medical examiner asked her, he said, "Hey, we're just going to eat." And he looked at the face, he goes, "You want to go with me and go eat barbecue?"
Realize, like your job. I heard the other day, said, I heard 10 or 12 people going to the sheriff. I said, fuck, let's get 20. They don't have a goddamn clue what they're getting into.
Oh,
Yeah, because but everybody. I'm gonna tell you something. It was back in the day when Alan Marshall take a damn blackjack, whoop their ass, and throw them in the cell. I'd run for fucking sheriff.
Yeah. Well, it's not like that no more.
I know. Take them down here on Mud Creek and hang them up with the damn rope.
Yeah.
But you can't do
And the
that.
thing about it is,
They got more rights than we got.
Okay, hold on. I did hear something. It's hard to understand them because they're literally so fucking Southern. Like, it's a totally different dialect. What language was that? But I think I heard something about hanging people up by ropes, and how they can't do that anymore. That sounds not good. Maybe we should listen to that again.
I heard 10 or 12 people going to the sheriff. I said, fuck, let's get 20. They don't have a goddamn clue what they're getting into.
oh, but everybody.
I'm gonna tell you something. It was back in the day when Alan Marshall take a damn blackjack, whoop their ass, and throw them in the cell. I'd run for fucking sheriff.
Yeah. Well, it's not like that no more.
I know. Take them down here on Mud Creek and hang them up with the damn rope.
Yeah.
But you can't
And
do
the
that.
thing about it is,
They got more rights than we got.
Okay, so they said, I'm pretty sure what I heard was something about we would whoop the black kid, put him in jail, back in the day, we would just hang them up, but we can't do that anymore. And now they have more rights than us. Is that racist? Probably. Is it? I think it's pretty disgusting. I think everything that is said so far is disgusting, but simultaneously, these are elected officials. Like, have media journalists on this situation until they want to resign, or play it in their reelection tapes ad nauseum, something like that, but preventing them from considering sitting in office because they're racist, like, that's not your job. You're the governor of Oklahoma. Yeah. Right. Like, okay, so yeah, maybe it's a racist joke. It's referring to the past, negative instances of our past, and that's nasty. But like, didn't happen today. Hasn't happened in a long time. All right. Back in the day, they were allowed to beat Black people and throw them in the cell, but can't do that anymore. Very true. And they could take them to Mud Creek and hang them. Yeah, that's what they said. And now they have more rights than them now. I think, like, okay, referring to the fact that they said specifically a Black person, that's the most concerning issue for me. However, their points that they're trying to make about crime on the rise and how you can't really penalize criminals anymore and how the riots are getting out of hand, like in Chicago and LA, those are good points, but they're vocalizing it in a racist way. That being said, if the citizens of the town are all flipping racist, they should be allowed to have a racist in their office. Like, this is America. We have a First Amendment right to be racist. Do I like racism? No, I'm Jewish, like, we're like the least hated race of them all. I don't like racism. Racism is bad, but I do like, more than anything, the First Amendment, which protects racism. So, am I wrong? Put a 1 in chat if I'm wrong. Put a 1 in chat if I'm wrong. Everyone racist. Everyone racist. Crisscross applesauce. Everyone racist. Hide the kid, hide your wife. Everybody being racist around here. Okay.
What they really don't know is
And that's the thing about it. 20 years ago, I would have done something like that. I know 20 years ago, I wasn't in a political position.
They're insignificant in my life.
Yes.
Really, they bring that.
Don't say it.
What goes around goes around.
It will. I told you it will.
Yeah.
I know where 2 big deep holes are here.
I got an excavator.
These are already pre-dug.
Yeah, but the thing of it is,
We actually told the truth.
I've known 2 or 3 hitmen that were very quiet guys
Yeah.
and would cut no fucking mercy
Yeah.
in Louisiana because it was all mafia around
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but here's the reality. If the hair on his
Okay, that is disturbing. So if you guys didn't hear that, that's a little bit. That has nothing to do with racism, though. That has to do with wanting to suppress the First Amendment, which I'm very much against. They're saying, they're talking about getting hitmen. They're talking about killing a journalist. No bueno. Now, committing a crime, I guess in that case, you could be stripped of your ability to hold office if you're supposed to uphold the law and you're trying to conspire to murder a journalist because he's uncovering stuff you don't want him to uncover. Yikes. Oof. Oh, that, and like, so the issue that I have with the article then is the governor was like, I'm not going to stand for the racism. It's like, you're not going to stand for the racism? Maybe you shouldn't stand for the conspiracy to commit murder? Maybe that should be your issue? Okay.
Fly's head, for Slimham's head, or any of those people that really were behind all that, if the hair on their head got touched by anybody, who would be the bad guys?
Who's
Yeah.
you blamed for?
Yeah.
So the woman is the only reasonable one. She goes, if a single head on their heads was touched by anyone, who would be the bad guys? We would. So she was like, yeah, I know that you're kind of trying to get us to talk about murdering this guy, but if we murder him, we're going to be in trouble. So let's not do that. Okay. What was his statement, though? There is simply no place for such hateful rhetoric in the state of Oklahoma, especially by those who serve to represent the community through their respective office. That's the thing. When you call it hateful rhetoric, I'm instantly going to take the side of the person that you're trying to suppress. If you call it conspiracy to commit murder against a journalist, which it was, you know what? Maybe I'll take your side, Governor Dipshit. Governor Stitt, I mean, same thing. Actually, he might be a nice guy. I honestly don't even know anything about this guy. I just really didn't like the way that he used buzzwords, and he just irked me by how it sounded like he was trying to suppress the First Amendment, but he was trying to suppress the First Amendment against people who were trying to suppress the First Amendment. So that's where we are there. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next story. Oh, this is so sad. Y'all saw that my first boyfriend in my head died. This is the first boy that I ever dated in my head. Aaron Carter. Okay, coroner rules that the singer Aaron Carter drowned in a tub from sedatives and inhalants. Singer and rapper Aaron Carter accidentally drowned in his bathtub as a result of sedatives he'd taken and gas used to spray cleaners that he inhaled, a coroner's report said Tuesday. Carter, the young brother of the Backstreet Boy Nick Carter, was found submerged and dead at age 34 in a bathtub in his home in Lancaster, California, November 5th. The autopsy report from the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner coroner said sheriff's deputies have been the last people to see Carter alive when they visited his house around 2 a.m. November 4th for a welfare check after he had seen and heard huffing and inhalant on Instagram live video. According to the police report included the autopsy finding, he asked the deputies to leave, and they did. Yikes. Yikes. Housekeeper came to Aaron Carter's office to offer him coffee. She let herself in. She got no response and heard his dogs barking, according to the report. Yikes. Celebrity known for substance abuse, multiple interactions with local police relating to substance abuse. Yeah, you guys remember him on the Lizzie McGuire show? I flipping love that show. That show made 0 sense. That show did not make any. Why was there a cartoon version of her? Can someone explain that to me? What purpose did the cartoon Lizzie McGuire serve? It was just like a regular sitcom, and then all of a sudden there would be like a cartoon character of the person who's already exists. So there's already the real Lizzie, and then we have like a cartoon. I did not get that show, but I loved it still. Didn't get it, but loved it. Okay, let's go on to BBC. BBC. Can Fox News afford the $787.5 million dominion? Well, guess what? Guarantee you the attorneys wouldn't have settled, okay, if Fox didn't approve it. And I'm not sure. I have been told that this is true, but I cannot confirm. I haven't worked as an attorney long enough, but I have been told that you could publicly declare that you settle for one amount, but then privately say, but you only have to pay so let's say Fox settled for 787.5 million. It's possible Dominion said, but you only have to pay 1% of that. I don't know what actually. I'm slightly speaking out of my arse here, but I've heard that in the past. I have no idea if that applies. I haven't seen anything related to that, but I would imagine that the attorneys for Fox weren't like, you know what? Let's just let Fox go under. What a great idea. Okay, so that seems like a dumb thing. We talked about This Way. Oh, wow. We talked about this issue yesterday. Okay, a woman who was allegedly shot and killed. A man who allegedly shot and killed a 20-year-old woman in New York State as a car she was in mistakenly drove up to the man's driveway has shown no remorse. We already know that she was just lost driving around, turned the car around. He shot at her. This is the man. The town of Hebron is rural and the driveway is poorly lit. None of the group had exited the vehicle or attempted to enter his house before opening fire. Friends drove away from the house and attempted to call for help. Yeah, we know this. I'm looking for the lack of remorse part, hence the title. I feel like a lot of times they try to drag out stories, repeated stories, by giving you the exact same facts and then adding one new detail and then making that the title. Mr. Gill's family called her a kind, beautiful soul, and a ray of light to anyone who was lucky enough to know her. She was a Disney fanatic. Our family will never be the same. I'm not really seeing any of the lack of remorse statements, though. I didn't see a statement that was like, and she deserved it. I don't know. I think that's a weird headline to put when you're not going to show how he shows no remorse. Okay. Fox settles Dominion. Fox settles Dominion. Of course, that's all they want to talk about. The Russian ships accused of North Sea sabotage. Okay, let's see what this is about. Russia has a program. There's no way this is how you spell program. Am I crazy? I feel like the news sometimes is like, we're just going to spell the British way because we want to seem fancier than we are. But this is not how you spell program, right? Am I crazy? That's not right. Anyway, Russia has a program to sabotage wind farms and communication cables in North Sea, according to new allegations. The details come from a joint investigation by public broadcasters in Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. It says Russia has a fleet of vessels disguised as fishing trawlers and research vessels in the North Sea. They carry underwater surveillance equipment and are mapping key sites for possible sabotage. The BBC understands that UK officials are aware of Russian vessels moving around UK waters as part of the program. The first of a series of reports is due to be broadcast on Wednesday by DR in Denmark, NRK in Norway, SVT in Sweden. These must be like their version of NPR, which is just state-sponsored media. A Danish counterintelligence officer says the sabotage plans are being prepared in case of a full conflict with the West, while the head of Norwegian intelligence told the broadcasters the program was considered highly important for Russia and controlled directly from Moscow. The broadcasters say they have analyzed intercepted Russian communications, which indicates so-called ghost ships sailing in the Nordic waters, which have turned off the transmitters so as to not reveal their locations. The report focuses on a Russian vessel called the Admiral Vladimirsky. Vladimirsky. That kind of sounds like Vladimir and Zelensky. Vladimir Zelensky, officially. This is an expeditionary oceanographic ship or underwater research vessel, but the report alleges that is in fact a Russian spy ship. Yeah, okay. Here is the path. Yeah, trying to attack wind farms. I don't know why you would try to attack wind farms. I wonder what percent of the energy actually comes from wind farms. I doubt it's very much. It says the vessel slows down when it approaches areas that there are wind farms and loiters in the area. It says it sailed for a month, but with its transmitter turned off. When a reporter approached the ship on a small boat, he was confronted by masked individuals carrying what appeared to be a military assault rifle. Holy shit. So, okay, imagine being a reporter, finding out about these ghost ships and being like, I'm going to get to the dinghy and just head on over and talk to these coins people, and then meeting this man. That seems unfun. That seems not friendly. The same ship was reportedly sighted off the Scottish coast last year, hopefully a wave tie to Henry. It was spotted entering the Moray Firth on 10 November and was seen about 30 nautical miles east of Lossiemouth, home of the RAF's Maritime Patrol Aircraft Fleet, before heading slowly west. Interesting. I think that's interesting. It's interesting. Okay. February, Dutch intelligence issued official warning. Yeah, yada yada. Okay. At the time, many accused Russians of being responsible. Okay. Yeah, it's just so funny that the Russians get blamed for everything. It's like Nord Stream 2, Russians. Don't look into it too hard though. How about this? What article seems good? Did a black man discover the North Pole? Well, we've already discovered it a long time ago, so I'm sure that's not current news. What the Danes can teach the U.S. about the debt crisis. So once again, not current news. What? Here we go. Here's current news. Here's what I call current news. Secret Service nabs toddler who squeezed through White House fence. Could you imagine being the parents of that little gremlin? Hello, Mike Cerrone. Welcome. Hi, blank blank, and Diane here of the hairbrush. Do not care what you think of my hair. Well, thank you so much for your service. We always really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get back to the story. A Secret Service stepped into action on Tuesday after a toddler slipped through the bars of an iron fencing surrounding the White House. Kid, that Secret Service agent just saved you from getting sniffed by Joe Biden. You have no idea what kind of danger you were in. Thank God. I don't know what's more dangerous, slipping through the bars of the White House as a toddler with Joe Biden in office, or slipping into a bear pit. Okay. Officers swept across the north lawn to retrieve a child who had entered from the north side of the lawn. The child's feet dangled in the air as an officer carried him back to his parents on Pennsylvania Avenue. Access to the White House was temporarily restricted while the pint-sized problem was resolved. President Biden was inside the executive mansion at the time of the security breach, according to his public schedule. The Secret Service spokesman, Anthony Guglielmilla, Reported officers encountered a curious young visitor. The White House security system instantly triggered Secret Service officers, and the toddler and parents were quickly reunited, Mr. DeLaguna said in a statement. Officers reportedly questioned the parents' belief before the family resumes their day. The $64 million fence, Jesus Christ, around the executive mansion is 13 feet tall. It is roughly double the size of its previous height, which was increased during a recent construction project to enhance White House safety. It's not only taller, the gaps between the posts are also wider by an inch. Well, it's nice so that you can still see the White House, obviously. In 2014, another toddler dubbed fence. Oh, it's nice to go. You can see the White House easier, but it's a problem because then you get toddlers coming through. 2014, another toddler dubbed the fence baby uninvitedly crept onto the White House grounds. Maybe they should have like an additional barrier, like for toddlers. So having the gaps for the adults and then having kind of more of a mesh bottom to prevent toddlers from continuing to do that. We were going to wait till he learned to talk to question him, but in lieu of that, he got a timeout and was sent on his way with his parents. How cute! Oh, they were going to teach him to talk before sitting him down for questioning. It is kind of cute, but like also slightly annoying. Yeah. Please no. Please Dixon, keep them in. I knew what, and I was really sad because I'm friends with Martin. Martin had sworn to us. I even mentioned this to Martin the other day. I was like, you promised us that you were going to bring Harambe back with clone DNA. Has it happened? No. Fake news, Martin. I have to call him out for that. Okay. This war is a long time. Ukrainian losses are 7-1 with Russia's. Facts. They will have no soldiers left. Well, they will. They'll have American soldiers. Poles, Hungarians, Romans, Germans will go. Facts. Like, yeah. Until it reaches Europe, and the United States is destroying the Europeans, throwing them under the Russian hammer. It is, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. US is like poking the Russian bear and then like, don't attack me. The Europeans are much closer. I understood. I understood the meme. Yes, I did. Yes, I feel you. Yeah, yes. Hello, Blue Eyes. Good to see you. If you guys have any stories that you want me to cover tomorrow, definitely send them to Henry, because we do like going through stories and finding new ones, because otherwise we would have never seen this little nugget. But at the same time, we want to get deeper into stories, so we'll get deeper into that story tomorrow about the hijacker. I will now have to sing to end this stream. That is how we are going to end this stream now, because screw my haters. And yeah, let's get one more story under our belt though. We got 5 more minutes. Let's see which one looks yummy. What? New Zealand's cat killing competition for children axed after backlash. There's so many issues with that title. Okay. A children's cat hunting competition in New Zealand has been canceled following backlash to the event. Organizers of an annual, this has been around for multiple years, hunt were criticized after they announced a new category for children to hunt feral cats, which are a pest in New Zealand. Youngsters are told not to kill pets, but they are otherwise encouraged to kill as many feral cats as possible. What? And here's the weirdest part. The fact that they have pet cats and feral cats. And then they're like, oh, and they were being offered money too. No. The event drew immediate condemnation from animal welfare groups. Facts. On Tuesday, the New Zealand Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals said it was relieved the children's category, which involved shooting feral cats. So wait, just to be clear, our issue with it is the fact that it's a children's category, not the fact that people are murdering cats, right? We're not worried about the cat murdering. We're worried about the fact that children are doing it. Okay, a representative argued that children, along with adults, would not be able to differentiate a feral, stray, or frightened domesticated cat, according to the AFP. How would anyone be able, child or otherwise, how can you tell the difference? I guess one tends to be groomed better, but they also had, there had also been fears that house cats could be caught in the crossfire, one former sponsor of the hunt told local media outlets. Oh my God. The event has been announced as part of a June fundraiser, Hunt for a Local School in Canterbury, the South Island. The competition each year typically sees hundreds, including children, compete to kill wild pigs, deer, and hares. Crazy. I mean, I guess I don't really, I guess it's kind of fucked up that I don't really see an issue with shooting wild pigs or deers or hare. Like, it's slightly different because you could eat them. Hopefully they're at least eating the bacon and the deer and the venison and the rabbit. Hopefully they're at least eating it when they're hunting it. But if you're just hunting it because they're pest-like, then I doubt you're eating it. Organizers of the North Canterbury hunting competition announced the cancellation of the cat event Tuesday, saying that they had received violent and inappropriate. You received violent and inappropriate. You were violent and inappropriate. We are disappointed and apologize for those who are excited to be involved in something that is about protecting our native birds and other vulnerables. Oh yeah, protect the birds, murder the cats. The post received more than 100, and I get it. If you have like a pest problem, like there's thousands of cats or whatever, you need to get. I just think there's a better solution other than having children turning it into an animal murder spree. Oh my God. Good morning, Callie Nuts. Okay, so I'm gonna spend. So someone asked me not to sing. So I'm going to end this show with me singing. I will take song suggestions. So speaking of cats, I sound like a cat dying when I sing. So just be prepared for that. I'm waiting for song suggestions. So let's do it. And I will sing and I'm proud to be an American. Hard Times. Do I know Hard Times? Or are you saying it's going to be hard times to be listening to me? Yeah, you're saying, do I know that song? Who's it by? I've never even heard it. Hard Times. And the show, Henry. Ha ha, I have power today. Ha ha. Ha ha. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I have a First Amendment that no Oklahoma governor can trample over me, even if I'm being totally racist. I'm allowed to do what I want because this is America. So go F yourself. I hope you enjoyed my singing. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And yes, and I hope I didn't kill your eardrums. And have a wonderful day. Goodbye, y'all.